Hi, I'm Stephen with AlbertaUrbanGarden.ca. Welcome to my garden. So we've probably had one of the coolest springs in recent memory, and that's kind of pushing back a couple of things I'd like to do out in the garden. But the one thing that we can do, even without the nice weather, is start our potatoes. So I'd like to use my potatoes, or grow my potatoes, sorry, in potato bags. These are the actual potato bags that you can find at the greenhouse. I picked them up a number of years ago and have been using them ever since. But you can use reusable shopping bags as well with a couple of minor alterations. So last year I showed you how these did, and I'll put a link to that right there. How these did, and I was quite impressed. This year I'm going to try a couple of different things. Right now I'm only going to plant 2 of my 3 bags, and that's for a reason. There's 2 ways you can start potatoes. You can start them from the actual spuds themselves with eyes. I'll just pull one out here nice and careful. So these are eyes, right? These are the things that you know when you're trying to use these to cook, that these potatoes have gone a little long, but these eyes actually create the plant themselves. The other way that you can start potatoes is by true potato seeds. And that comes on the green foliage, and I asked you last year what this tomato looking like thing was. That actually produces true tomato seeds, and I've actually got a couple in the basement from my good friend at Double Dog Farms, and I'm going to be planting that in the 3rd one. But today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 equally sized Russian blues. These are my favorite little purple ones. They taste just like russet, no veritable difference, but they're purple. And as you know, I like to grow things that are, off color, odd, maybe don't grow so well in this area, but, I've kind of fallen in love with having, all my different colors of peppers in my eggs and some purple hash browns on the side. A special note before we get going, I'm wearing my new hat. Thank you very much to my family. This comes all the way from Uluru, Australia, which is going to be over 14,000 kilometers away from here. The sun's still a little low in the sky. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up these 2 bags. In one of the bags, we're going to use just a regular potting mix, like I have in previous years, to grow them. Instead of putting it in the bottom third, though, the potato seed, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill it probably to about 2/3. That'll settle down to about half, and then I'll hill it as we go, just with a regular potting mix. The other one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put about 1/3 of a base of potting mix, and then I'm going to plant the potato down there and fill the rest with some dethatched grass and some leaves that I collected from a good friend of mine's place to see if I can't build some soil. I was inspired by Blake and Patrick on their channels, and I'll put links, there and there to their videos that recently came out to try this method. It might be a great way to build soil from yard waste while you're growing potatoes, because I don't think potatoes particularly need too much to grow in. So let's get started, and I'm going to fill up these bags and show you what I'm going to do. So this one on the right, what I'm going to do is I have some soil already in this bin from some recycled plants. I'm going to fill that up with potting soil. A little dense. So we're going to fill that up with potting soil. Now the interesting thing about potatoes is this crop has really had an impact on the entire world. It's indigenous to South America, Central America, and some parts of the United States, and has been cultivated for literally tens of thousands of years. In the 16th century, when the European settlers came to North America, sorry, part of what they brought back to the Royal Academies was potatoes. This resulted in a massive population boom. Once the potatoes were distributed between in the European nations and around the world because of the integral shipping that they had, it really allowed for a population boom. This was a low-cost, high-return crop that the populations could use to feed themselves quite easily, pretty well all the way through Europe. On the flip side, later on, in the mid-1800s, because of the lack of diversity in the potato population, because they only brought a few back, and those spread throughout Europe. But because of that, there ended up becoming, you know, a disease, a potato disease. Now that potato disease caused massive crop failures, which with the inflated population that's been growing over the last couple of hundred years, allowed for the collapse of the potato crop. That potato crop led to mass famine, which, interestingly enough, ended up allowing literally hundreds of thousands of people to immigrate to North America, where they could start fresh and have the opportunity to grow their own food. So this potato has impacted the world incredibly, all from one little spud. So I'm just going to finish filling up these, and then I'll show you planting and putting the leaf and grass mulch on there. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to actually move these to the garage. Until these really put their first leaves up, they're perfectly fine. They're going to use the energy within the tuber itself to grow the plant. They don't need any light or anything, and that should get us past this cold night phase that we're currently in. That should get us past our frost-free date and allow us to bring that out when they actually need the leaves, as opposed to letting them freeze. So we'll hide them off in the garage until they get going, but this gets us just a little bit of a head start on the season. So you don't have to buy potatoes, seed potatoes. You can just leave some of your table potatoes or your potatoes you buy at the grocery store to gain eyes. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to select kind of two that are roughly the same size. I think that's as close as we're going to get. We're going to plant one in this one that I'm going to continue to fill with mulch, and as it settles down and breaks down, I'll continue to add more to it. And we're going to plant one in this one, which is the soil. So I think I'm going to do it, and all you really have to do is nestle that in there. Try to point the eyes up, because that becomes the plant itself, and then cover with a bit of soil. So with this one I'll just do that. So we'll water that in, and I'm just going to add more mulch to the top of this. So this is dethatched grass. Leaves may work. I'll probably add a little bit of coffee grounds to both of these, and just to keep them watered down and keep them happy. And when they start to sprout, and the danger of the frost-free period, or I guess not the danger of the frost-free period, but when it is frost-free, we'll move them out to the garden. The beautiful thing about these bags is they can be grown anywhere. If you've got a patio, if you've got a small space that catches some sun, these bags are easily transportable. They have nice handles, and you can grow spuds in here, you can grow tomatoes in here. Really, it's got enough volume. It's about a 5-gallon volume that you can grow a lot of different things and keep it transportable. I usually plop these around the garden depending on what's happening, and so we're not shading too many things, and they end up moving 3 or 4 times throughout the season before harvest. So anyways, we're going to water these up. We're going to put them in the garage, and in a couple of weeks we'll take them out of the garage when the plants start to actually come through, and put them in the garden. So as always, I'm going to keep you up to date with these purple spud plants in my little experiment here. When the frost-free area happens, I'll plant the third one with the true potato, probably doing a mixture of both, and see if we can't grow some beautiful potatoes and soil at the same time. A special note, I've only put one plant in each bag, or one seed potato. There's many different ways to plant these. Honestly, I've got a couple extras, so I just drop the whole thing in there. I've only put one in there because they tend to choke each other out. It's not a lot of space, and having too many plants means you're not going to get as many tubers, I feel. So we'll see how it goes. Thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate it very much. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and a subscribe. If you'd like to continue the conversation, please join us on Google+ and Facebook. Those URLs can be found in the description below. Have a great day.